by, I'm going to put something like this, ax plus b. We'll talk about what that means in a second. So when I say ax plus b, I mean like if you're dividing by like x plus 3, or x minus 2, or even like 2x minus 3. Okay, so the b can be positive or negative. If you're dividing by something like this, you can use synthetic division. If you're dividing by an x squared or an x cubed, you can't use synthetic division, and that's why it stinks. Yeah, that's when you have to go to long division. Okay, so let me give you a problem, and I'll show you how you set it up. Okay, so synthetic division, you're going to put this little box right here. Or it's not a box, it's a half box, I guess. So the number that goes in there is, if you were to take this x plus 2, and I set it equal to 0 and I solve, what would I get? X equals negative 2. If you take this right here and you solve, you would get x equals negative 2. The negative 2 is what goes in the box. And I would just say it's always opposite, but you have to be careful, because if it was like a 2x minus 3, and you set that equal to 0 and solve, you have to add 3 and divide by 2. So this is x plus 2, I put minus 2 in the box. Then you take the coefficients of this. So starting here, what's the coefficient of x squared? What is a coefficient? The number in front. So what's in front is a 1. Yes, so a 1. Then I go to the x, negative 3, and then last, negative 7. So these are the coefficients, and you draw a line down here. Leave a little bit of space. That's how you set up synthetic division. So here's what you do. You always drop the first number. So I just bring down the 1. So I drop down the first number. Anything under the line, I multiply with what's in the box. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and I go up here and I put it under the next number. Then I add going down right here. So I just have negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5. I'm going to multiply again. Negative 5 times negative 2, 10, that goes right here. So above the line you're adding, negative 7 plus 10 is 3. Done except writing your answer in with x's. So the last number here is always your remainder. So looking at this like in basic form, I'm taking an x squared equation and I'm dividing it by an x. So what is this equal right here? X. So what happens is when you use synthetic division, whatever this exponent is, your answer is 1 less than that. So this is x squared. This right here, this 1, is the coefficient of x to the first. So this is going to be 1x minus 5. And then my remainder, so I say plus 3 over, what does this go over? X plus 2. That's it. So the biggest thing with synthetic division that people forget is if it skips a placeholder, or if it skips a degree, you have to put a placeholder in or it will mess up. Long division, if you don't put it, it's okay, because you can still get the right answer. Synthetic division, it will be wrong if you don't put it. So let's do another one. Number 2. What does that negative exponent do? Yeah, it gets divided. So same type of problem, don't let it confuse you. This just gets divided, and now it's under here, b plus 1. So nothing different. Okay, so let's set up synthetic division. What goes in the box? What do you think goes in the box? -1, right here. If I solve this, I would subtract 1. So -1 goes in the box. And then we put our coefficients. So start here. So I have 2, 1, -2, and +3. And draw your line. What's the first thing you do? Right, bring the first number down or drop the 2, whatever you want to call it. So everything under the line is multiplied. So 2 times -1, -2. It goes in the next space. You just add going down. So 1 plus a -2, -1. So multiply again. -1 times -1, +1. Add -1 again. Multiply, -1 times -1 is 1, and add is 4. So don't forget, this is your remainder. So if I started with a 2b to the third, what does my answer start with? B to the second. So these are my coefficients. So I start 2b to the second. Then I go minus a b, or minus 1b if you like that, -1, and then my remainder plus 4 over b plus 1. Easy? Better than long division? You still have to do long division though, sometimes. But if you can use this, this is what you want to use. Okay, see if you can set this one up. Make sure you're putting placeholders in. So you should start with 6, which is w to the 5th, but then it skips w to the 4th and w to the 3rd. So I need a 0 for w to the 4th, a 0 for w to the 3rd. Then I can put in -18, but it also skips w to the 1st, and then last is w to the 0, which is 120. Oh, negative. So this is the part you have to be careful of, is when you set it up. That will give you the incorrect answer. So drop the 6, and you'll get real fast with this. Your numbers with mine. If we started with w to the 5th, what's our answer start with?
W to the 4th.
Yeah, w to the 4th. So 6 w to the 4th. And you just go down the row. The remainder is 0. Don't put anything. Okay, the only other thing I want to talk to you about real quick is just another way. It's called synthetic substitution. Is anyone still writing? Okay. So last thing, real quick, I just want you to look at this. I give you a function like so I give you something like this, x to the third minus 4x squared plus 3x plus 5, and I say find f of 4. What would you do? Plug in the 4. So we would have 4 to the third minus 4 times 4 squared plus 3 times 4 plus 5. And you would do all your awesome math and come up with 7. So we would say f of 4 equals 7. That's familiar to you all? Okay, so what we can also do is this thing called synthetic substitution. Thank you. Synthetic substitution. And so they'll give you, I'm going to use the same exact one up here. So they'll give you some polynomial. I'm going to call it p of x, just for polynomial. They'll say use synthetic substitution to evaluate the polynomial. So here's our polynomial, and we want to know for x equals 4. So we've done this, but what they want you to know is you can also do synthetic division with this. Your remainder should be the same as this number. The biggest thing is you don't change the sign for what goes in the box because it's already x equals 4. So I put 4 in the box. You do the same thing. Put your coefficients. So 1, -4, 3, and 5. If I plug in 4 and I got 7, I should get 7 as my remainder. That's all that this is. So bring down the 1, multiply, get 4. -4 plus 4 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. Add going down is 3. And 12, and I missed something. Is that a -5? It is a -5. It is 7. I almost did the -5 also. Sorry. We actually did the math. So here my remainder is 7, and here is also 7. Okay, that's all they're showing you is you can use synthetic division for that. Okay, so the worksheet that says day 2, that one will be for a grade. I would say between today and tomorrow, because tomorrow we won't do a new lesson, check your answers on the monomial one and the day 1 division one. I will put my answer keys back up there so that you can look at them now if you want. And then synthetic division one will be due